Okay, I want to start off with that a working flow is a really good thing for you to be in because of how it helps you helps you imagine new ideas. It helps you immediately be able to know something that's quality that somebody needs, or to know that this is the solution to this problem. And you basically, when you're in a flow state, you're able to access everything consciously and subconsciously at the same time, which allows you to display it in the most quality way that you possibly know of. So even if it isn't as high quality as you're wishing for, you still get that ability to really go in depth and teach somebody about whatever you want to talk about. And it's honestly, it's a great feeling. So to start off with, how does one get into a working flow state? My best answer, because obviously I don't know the exact solution, but my best answer is to just work. Just put in some form of work, some form of effort, that even if you have a slight inclination towards liking, you should do it. Like, it doesn't have to be like the golden carrot. It doesn't have to be the thing that you desire the most out of your life. But certainly it can just be something like, maybe you like playing games. Okay. Maybe you like, for personal experience, right? When I used to play video games a lot, what I would do is I would play Minecraft. If you should probably know what that is. And I would make these worlds where I would build these like giant things by myself. And it's because I understand now, is that it was the thing that helped me enter into a working flow that felt like it was providing value, although it wasn't because it's a video game. But it's the idea of getting into that flow state, of getting into how you work and being able to stay there for hours and hours and hours, is this ability to, you start understanding that this is actually fun. Like, the work isn't actually like, when you're not in a flow state, you're not like working like miserably. You're working like you're excited. You're working like you're really wanting to do something. And it's that capability of entering this place through just working of some sort, of putting in the effort consistently, that even when you get the first time that you enter into that flow state, it boosts you in a way where you can say, yes, this is it, this is why I'm here. Because it's a great feeling. Even if the result that you get was undermined compared to what you thought it was going to be, it lets you develop yourself in a way where you get to begin to understand that, okay, maybe this didn't go my way, but I put work in. I like putting work in. Let's see what I can do differently, and let's see how I can do it better. Right? That's the part that's really nice about being a human, I guess. It's a really weird way to put it. But it's that ability to just be able to sit there in that state and just flow into it, right? When you're in that good working flow, when it's really coming to you, when like everything's just there and it's like fun, the best way to reward yourself is to stay there. Don't go, oh, I worked really hard today, let's go get ice cream. No. Oh, we're working really good today. Work some more, because you feel like working. When it works like that, when you see that develop, it's right there. The reward isn't anywhere else. It's within yourself. That's the part that I really like about life, is that you can find this internal reward, this internal working system, and you can leverage it to do more work. It's a really interesting concept, and I thought about it, and that's why the title of this video is Don't Lose Your Role, because that is exactly what I'm talking about. Is I don't want you to lose your role because you think you have to reward yourself with some external adventure rather than some internal like sprouting. Does that make sense? I'm thinking about it it's like a plant, like a sprouting plant, right? Like when you're first sprouting, that doesn't mean you have to go like to the left now, because like if you're sprouting up and the sun's above you, okay, that's like saying you do that and the reward is going to the left. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. That's why plants always grow towards the sun, because they get more reward. Humans should grow towards the work because they get more reward from feeling that they're doing good work. It's this simple idea that implementing yourself into this work will give you the value that you want to represent onto yourself and onto the world, which there's something magical about the flow state. And obviously it's not... Ooh, I just had a really good idea. The flow state, right, or not even the flow state, but things in life that you can't define as like one word or one thing are oftentimes the concepts that have different understandings to individuals are often the things that make you the most happiest, because that is where your individual freedom comes into play. You're able to give your best gift, and even if it's not that great to other people, you can still have that responsibility and authority to just give, to just, here you go, have this, and in return, we both get value. In return, we both grow. In return, if I forget what I was saying about the workflow, I can come back to my videos and be like, oh yeah, that's what I said about it. Boom. I just need to do that again. Because that present me knew exactly what to do to get into the flow state. So, also a really interesting thing about, at least for my example, for recording videos or like writing or doing anything that involves you recording a thought in that present moment, is that if that version of you knows how to do something, you can instantly turn that thing into a habit. Because when you're experiencing that thing in the present moment, you understand that, okay, now it's time to implement this into my life. How? Well, I don't really know, but I can write about it. You can write about it, and then at a later time, when you think, okay, or maybe you forget, you're like, shoot, I really want to enter that workflow again. How do I do it? You go back and you see, put in the work that you think is quality that you like, and just keep doing it over and over and over again, and you'll enter the flow state like that. It'll be that quick. Then you're like, I have a step-by-step tutorial on how to do it. And the best part is it's individualized. Maybe that doesn't work for you, but that works for me. But I can teach you the idea of discovering this workflow for yourself, and it's not very methodical. It's not very like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3 for everybody. For me, it happens to be. But oftentimes for some people, it could be, oh, okay, let me go sit on this table and do my work here. And it's really fun. For whatever reason, you have a sick time sitting on a table, right? Like, I'm not, like, it sounds really stupid, but I'm not joking. It's literally simple as that. It's it's being able to reward yourself by staying there when you understand that, and then you get that neural connection, and where it's like, oh, I'm doing this encourages this encourages my workflow, and then you get this giant little forehead loop. But that was really stupid, but I don't really care. It's kind of fun. But it's the idea of understanding that this is the active key for success. If in yourself, if not in others, if maybe you're helping an elderly person, right? And maybe you're not exactly most inclined to help elderly people for whatever reason that day. But what if you know how to enter into a workflow? Then you could be like, okay, let me do these first couple things that are a little hard, and then boom, habit. Done. you're in work state in like 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there for hours and hours just doing things. And then your person that you're taking care of is looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? Because you're just running around the house doing everything. It's just, that's really, really cool to me. And also, I'm not even really that, like, scared. Like, I'm a little scared. But my light for my stove over here, it just turned on its own, completely by itself. Kind of freaky. But yet again, the button also is kind of weird. Like, it's kind of like, it's not like sticky, but like, it kind of is. It's not, like, when you think of like electricity sticky, you think of it as like really, really bad. But it's just like a little bit sticky. It's not like something completely horrible. But anyways, going back to my point here, is if you have this active key of success in front of you, it makes no sense for you to just throw it out and wait, I'll wait for next time when it happens. Why? You have it right there. The thing that people don't understand is like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, anyone who's successful, literally anybody, Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, Michael Jordan, they all learned how to enter a workflow and they used it and they wrote about it and they fucking abused the shit out of it. Like a 40-year-old drunk dude with his dog. Like, I mean, just... But don't do that to your dog. Okay, don't do that to your dog. Dogs are nice. Don't be mean to your dogs. But it's about that realization that, okay, this is something I need to keep. That gave Michael Jordan his 96th season. Right? That gave Bill Gates Microsoft. Like, it's not... You don't even have to create these things either, by the way. Like, Michael Jordan didn't create basketball. He just simply thought, I can do it better. And he did it in a way where he provided more value to his teammates than anyone ever could. And quite frankly, he probably still holds that record to this day. Obviously, debatably, people are like LeBron or Jordan, which I'm not going to go into that because I'm not personally too in-depth with it. So it's not my place to say that. But you start to understand this idea, right? And when you keep it, you gain this huge benefit of being able to work just like you're able to work like the people at the bar drink. Like you're just nonstop. And it's not even like it damages you. You just like, when you're done with it, you're like, that's cool. And then you do it again, and you're like, that feels even better. And then you just like, it's just like literally like a snowball. It's a snowball where you can turn it into an avalanche and you can throw it. You can just pick it up and just be like, here's an avalanche, and just throw it at somebody. That's what it means to have a good workflow, right? At least from my perspective, because I'm in one right now. That's why I'm making this video about don't lose your role. So, and another thing that I really want to point out is, well, it's more obvious, but when you focus, you make your highest quality work. Like that seems very obvious, but the problem is that people don't know what to define as focus. Because focus isn't when you're like really, really, really into it and you're like sitting there and you're fighting your own misery. It's not like that kind of focus. What focus really is the ability to just sit there and do something and make it, and it feels fun. When it feels fun, it doesn't matter how hard that guy focuses, he's going to quit. Because he chemically does not have the advantage that you have, right? When you are in something for fun, you have the best unfair advantage you could possibly have on this planet. It's just to be able to, boom, got your ass. That guy quit, sucks to be you. That guy quit, sucks to be you. I'm not that problem. You can be not that problem either, right? If you're really good at football, if you're a good football player, and I mean this type, not the foot, not like soccer, then go play fucking football. Like, if you're a really good linebacker and you have a lot of fun running into people, then go for it, right? Like, go for it in a way where you're not just, like, doing it entirely for fun, but you're doing it in a way where you're focusing on something and you're doing it and then it's fun. Like, in that way, where you know you're improving something, you're improving your game, you're improving how you tackle somebody, you're improving the position of your arm for whatever, right? And it's about the idea of making that happen. It's your highest quality work, is when you're in that flow. And at first, when you start off, like I previously mentioned, you're not going to be able to, actually I didn't previously mention it, but I kind of did, is that you're not going to be able to, like, know how to do it at first. But then you do it, and you're like, okay, I should write this down. It's about the quicker you have that realization of, oh, this is how I do workflow, this is how I should write it down, the quicker you begin to understand that, oh, wait a second, that's the main thing that I really wanted to do. So you begin to it's a way to show this this form of, I guess, gratitude for that flow state to yourself and to other people, even if it helps them, right? So I guess for the first actionable step in this video, I would say write down or record or do something where you can tell yourself, okay, this is how I enter a workflow, this is how I am consistent, this is where I feel like I am fucking high, and just go with it. Just absolutely just go with it. Don't even, you don't have to be like, oh, is this socially acceptable? Oh, is this the way? Like, obviously you should know that if your workflow is killing people, that's not acceptable in social standards, like, obviously. But if your working flow is like, how do I word this? Anyways, so if your workflow is like something really weird, like you get horny or something, but you really know how to work when you're horny, that sounds really... I did not think that's how it's going to sound. Oh my god. Okay. Well, anyways. If you learn how to work... Anyways, for the example's sake, okay, not getting any weird. If you learn how to work, if you're really good at working when you're horny for whatever reason, then do that. Like, don't tell anybody, but like just do that. And it'll help you understand and develop you in a way where, oh, okay, this is how I am able to really sit down and get work done and just absolutely plow through everything. I can get a week's worth of work done in 5 minutes. It's like, people would pay you a lot of money to figure that out. Like, if you were the CEO of a company and you could figure out how every single person can get into a workflow state, you're worth more than everyone now. That's just how it is. Like, because when everyone's in a workflow state, you are optimizing for the best human version that you can possibly give. And with all this being said, obviously there's many advantages, but one entry point that I want to make aware of is don't eat a lot before you get into your workflow, before you try getting into it. The reason why I say this is because it's more of a physical perspective. Like, when you're in a workflow state, blood can flow freely to the brain. The brain, this little dome right here, you knock on it a couple times, and your brain's like, yo, I'm working. Get that workflow. You're able to churn it out. Just churn it out. And when you eat, what happens is you begin to use your digestive system, which, if you know anything about the current modern culture, you're starting to hear a bit more about it, but it's like they say it's your second brain, because it is. It takes a lot of energy to digest something, like tremendous amounts of energy to digest something, let alone if you have like a 2,000 calorie meal. Now, an interesting point to make is that, okay, if you're someone like me who has a lot of deep work that they want to do, but they're also trying to bulk, it can be tough. I agree. Now, I am nowhere close to actually being able to bulk quite yet, but what I can tell you is that you can actually, a cheat code that I figured out how to do is I put this block of work that I'm doing in the morning. I do it before I eat anything major. Like, I mean, before this, I had literally shredded cheese. I'm not even joking. I had a plate, like a paper plate, and I poured shredded cheese on it, and I just ate a little bit of that. Boom. That's all I needed. I didn't need like a fucking 4-ounce steak with like potatoes and green beans or something. Like, I can eat that later if I want to. So, getting back to my point here, when you eat something big, your digestive system, it takes a lot of the blood flow away from the brain, away from like other limbs, and it brings it towards the stomach, which is also why you often get cold. Like I don't know if you notice this, but when you're digesting something, you'll usually get colder. You'll feel colder, because especially if you eat something big, it's not really noticeable if you eat something small like shredded cheese. But if you eat something big, like a meal, like a whole meal, or like a whole meal, and then like if you're bulking, maybe you have a little bit extra too. When you do that, and you take notice of it in your present moment, you'll realize that, oh wait, I actually feel like a bit colder, because the blood flow is all in your digestive system, where it goes through your stomach, it goes through your intestines, your gastrointestines, your pancreas is working, your like just everything's working, your liver's working, maybe if you're drinking alcohol, or if you're drinking in general, the liver works, but the kidneys are working to get salt water balance, to filter out any nutrition that your body doesn't need, and all of this requires blood. Everything from like right here to below to like anything in the midline of your body, it requires a lot of energy and blood to do that. So when you take that away from your brain, you're not able to focus as well, and you're not able to provide the maximum amount of value that you physically can, even if you're able to enter into a workflow state while being like extremely full, because you're just biologically, you're lacking the ability to get that blood into your brain and like be like, okay, time to work, right? So don't eat before working on your main purpose, so that way when you're doing it, you have the optimized version of yourself there. And I don't know exactly what else to say for the idea of don't lose your role, but I think another thing you should do as well is let it naturally simmer out. Like if it's simmering out, like if you're nearing towards the end of it, and it's just kind of like not going out, just let it do its thing. It's time for your brain to rest, probably. That's probably why you're doing it. It's probably chemicals being released in your brain that's telling you, hey, you should probably calm down. This is good. We just need a deep breath. And if you do, obviously, you should be able to do enough work until you're satisfied before that happens, because otherwise you're just basically quitting for no reason, like most likely. And then I would say use whatever protocol that you have personally to re-inject yourself into the workflow state, or just any flow state for the matter. So next time you have the intuition to, hey, I'm working, I want to work, I want to do this thing, do it. Just do it. So that way, when you enter this state, you're able to do all the things that you want to do, and then you can let your brain rest and leave it, and then be like, okay, I'm good for the day, I provide a lot of value, and I'm able to, at least for my example, for my personal example, I was able to represent with you today, well, not today, but probably whenever I upload this video, which might be a while, because I've recorded 3 videos and a short, my first short today. And this is being the 3rd one. And this is all within almost 2 hours. So being able to understand, okay, I did my work for the day, I can rest now, is also a good thing. Because if you constantly re-inject yourself into the flow state, like, your brain's going to eventually be like, fuck you, I'm not doing this again. Because the brain likes to say, okay, time for you to calm down. And if you don't listen to it when it's at that stage, you're often taking a major risk of not being able to actually use whatever stimuli you did to get into the workflow state. So I want you to be aware of that as well. But besides that, I mean, that's about it. Like, don't lose your role. Be focused. Be determined. Learn how you enter into your workflow state. And just stay there for as long as you feel like it's comfortable, right? Like, if you feel a bit, like, anxious or uncomfortable in the workflow state, maybe that's just because you're not adapted to it. But there's obviously a point where you have to understand that, okay, this is mental exhaustion, let me rest. Also, I am very dehydrated because I talked a lot in this video. So I know I'm going to stop here. I give you guys a lot of information, and I really hope that some of it at least went into that little rat brain of yours, and hopefully the important stuff did, so that way you can use it in the future to not only express this value of yourself by being able to give to whatever you want to do, to whoever you want to, but you also get the capability to develop in a way that will help you, remember things better, and help you just do that thing, right? So, have a good one. Thank you for paying attention. And if you actually made it through all 28 minutes, bravo.